Hi everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. We're just getting our tech sorted out this end before we introduce everybody and tell you what's happening today. So I'll just wait for the green light from my colleague James here and know that everyone's popping in to our call and we're ready to go. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us today. We've been really overwhelmed with the number of people who've chosen to join our webinar. So thank you all very much. My name is Jenny Spears. I'm based in Bristol in the UK. And together with my colleagues James and Ali, who are also on the call today, we support Lemon Tree Trust's team, who are based in the Kurdistan region of Iraq. We coordinate administration, communications and fundraising for them. And this is the first time we've hosted a live webinar, so please bear with us. We're sure that we'll have a few hiccups along the way, but we're learning to use the technology as we go, and we're really thrilled that you've been able to join us. So we are going to invite you to use two functions on this call today. The first is the chat function, which you should see at the bottom of your Zoom screen. We'd love to know who's joining us today and where you're joining from. Our work, as you know, connects people through gardening. So one of the reasons for doing this webinar is to introduce you to our project live in the Kurdistan region of Iraq. But we would love to know where you are as well. So do share where you're joining us from and maybe tell us a little bit about your own garden or maybe some of the plants that you're enjoying growing at the moment. And we can use that for those connections. So thank you. So before I start, I've got a little bit of housekeeping to do. In addition to that chat function that we're currently using and for you to introduce yourselves, we're going to be using the Q&A function on the webinar today. Again, you should be able to see that at the bottom of your Zoom screens. If you have questions for our team in the Kurdistan region, please use that Q&A function to post them, and we will try and answer as many as possible, either as we go through, if that's appropriate, or towards the end, we'll have a dedicated questions and answers session. So please post into the Q&A and we will get to those as and when we can. We'll be circulating the recording of this webinar afterwards to everyone who's registered. We'll include any links that we post in either the chat or the Q&A as we go. We'll send those to you afterwards, so don't worry about noting those down. But if there is something in particular that you hear about today in the webinar and you want us to tell you more about afterwards, then please post something in the Q&A, tell us what you'd like to know more about, and we will send you that information afterwards or arrange to speak to you separately. So what's on the agenda today? We'll be having a virtual tour of two of our gardens. We're really excited to be joined by our team from Azadî Community Garden in the Domiz 1 camp, which is the picture that you can see in the background here. And we'll also be updating you on progress from our new community garden called Hêvî in Gawilan camp. And as I say, then we'll be having a live Q&A session. As I've said, this is a sort of the first time that we've done this. We will, as we sort of get into the garden tours, we will need to allow Rody and Hamid, two of our team members who are joining us today, we'll need to allow them time to translate for the benefit of Aveen and Othman. Aveen and Othman both have Arabic as their first language, although both do understand quite a lot of English. And also Rody and Hamid will be translating Aveen and Othman's words back to us in English. So thank you both, Rody and Hamid, for your help today. But as I say, we're joined from Domiz 1 camp by Aveen Ibrahim and our colleague Rody, and from Gawilan camp by Hamid and Othman. Aveen is our operations manager in the Kurdistan region. She oversees all of our projects in the whole region. She regularly makes visits to all of our camps. And Othman is our community garden coordinator in Gawilan camp, and he is overseeing the build of our new community garden there. So we'll hear more from them later. But before we join Aveen and Rody, I wanted to give you a little bit of background to our work, if you didn't know about us already. Although I know that a lot of you on the call today are regular supporters, so thank you very much for joining us. But this map shows you, oh, sorry, let's just move forward slightly. This map shows you where Iraq is, just to sort of remind us where we're joining today. And the majority of the work of Lemon Tree Trust takes place in this very northern region of Iraq, the Kurdistan region. And indicative on this map are the locations of Domiz 1 camp, which is located very close to Duhok, one of the major cities in the Kurdistan region. And Gawilan camp down here is located very close to Erbil, which is the capital of the Kurdistan region of Iraq. So I'm going to introduce you to Azadî, first of all, and then we'll go to Aveen and Rody. But I should say that it's getting on for early evening in the KRI. So we plan for this call to last about an hour today. We've obviously had to choose a time in the day that's suitable for those who are joining us from the USA. Thank you very much. It's sort of early afternoon here in the UK. But it's early evening in the KRI and the sun will begin to set in about an hour's time. So we just want to make sure that you've got a good view of both gardens while it's still light. So we'll try to keep to an hour. So we've taken this drone footage or drone photograph to give you a little bit of an overview of Domiz 1 camp. This is still the largest camp for displaced people in the Kurdistan region. It's home to around 32,000 people, and as you can see, people are populated quite densely in this quite small area. You can see in the bottom of the screen here, this area, this is the Azadî Garden. And as you can see, it's a little oasis of green in what is a very densely populated area, and it's really, really needed. You can also possibly see on your screen little dots of green where people have planted trees at their own home shelters, and gardens are also sort of within that you know, those little squares as well. But it's this community garden that is a real haven and a real hive of activity. So we're really very proud to have been able to create that. This is a closer up view of the garden from above. These two tunnel houses here that you see, or hoop houses here on the right, they are actually no longer there. This was taken before we built the Azadî Garden extension. So this area here is the original community garden that is still up and running. And this area now has been extended to include more of those raised beds that families are able to garden in every day. This is a view of that very spot before any work took place. This was taken back in 2018 before the garden was built. But very quickly, you know, you can see the white sort of lines of flower that were used to sort of mark out where those fences were going to go in and where the garden was going to be set out. But it really doesn't take long for a piece of land like that to become quite green, quite lush, and with a little bit of TLC, a little bit of love, and a few seeds, it really is very possible very quickly to create that oasis of green. So we're very excited to be able to show you what's happening in Azadî today, and I think you'll be amazed, having seen that, you know, previous slide of that, you know, quite what looks like quite a barren piece of land. Really hoping that you'll be surprised to see what it looks like today. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Aveen Ibrahim. As I said, she is our Azadî Community Garden Manager, but she also is our sort of operations manager for the whole of our Kurdistan region. She is in touch with all of our camp garden coordinators on a daily basis. She's an absolutely fantastic gardener herself. And she's joined today by Rody, our country director in Iraq. Rody is an incredible help to all of our team out there in the Kurdistan region. He's also really, really busy. And luckily for us, he speaks fluent English, fluent Arabic, and of course his own language is Kurdish. So thank you very much, Rody, for joining us. I'm going to stop talking now. hand you over to Rody and Aveen, who I think are going to give us a live tour of some of the things and introduce you to some of the people who are in the garden right now. And of course, if you have any, think of any questions as you go through, then please do post those in the Q&A function. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen to allow to allow James to spotlight Rody so he can give us a tour.
Hello, hello. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can. Hi, Rody. Hi, Aveen.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good afternoon, whatever you are. So thank you so much, Jenny. As Jenny said, my name is Rody Sher, and I'm joined by Aveen Ibrahim today. We're very happy to be here today with you to show you some of our work and what's happening here in Domiz, a great project that we are implementing in the north part of Iraq, and how we are helping vulnerable families, individuals, widows to find peace in gardening. So I'm very happy and lucky to be with Lemon Tree Trust, and I will hand the speech over to Aveen now to talk a little bit, and maybe later on we will be showing you around our project in Domiz camp.
تمام. أول شيء مرحبا جميعا. أنا أفين إبراهيم. طبعا اللاجئين من سوريا تقريبا بال 2011 لجأنا من سوريا لكردستان العراق. تقريبا من 2015 بلشنا بمشروع ليمون تري داخل المخيم، وكان هذا أول عمل اللي بشتغله بحياتي، كانت أول فرصة إلي إني أشتغل مع هاي المنظمة، وبصراحة الحمد لله يعني ما ندمان عليها أبدا. طورنا كثير، اشتغلنا كثير، تعبنا كثير لقدرنا نساعد الناس الموجودين من عدد بسيط من البذور لأشجار، لمسابقات، لجوائز مالية، لفرص عمل، لتخطير مناطق واسعة من المخيمات. والحمد لله لحد الآن نجحنا، ونتأمل إنه ننجح أكثر من هيك ونقدر نوسع نطاق المنظمة على أكبر قدر ممكن.
So Aveen is saying hi to everyone. My name is Aveen Ibrahim. She's originally from Syria. She came to Erbil in 2011, and it's where she is now in this part of the world, in Kurdistan, particularly in Domiz camp. In 2015, she saw an interest in joining with Lemon Tree Trust. She started the project. They started with very little number of seeds, and they, you know, as you can see today, a big project started from, you know, number of seed banks, and she's very happy that she's working with Lemon Tree Trust. She's been doing a lot of work with the people here in the garden, which hopefully helped her in building this garden and this project.
تمام. هلا احنا حاليا تقريبا من حوالي 4-5 سنوات بلشنا بمسابقات. هاي المسابقات تقريبا احنا بلشنا بمخيم واحد، وحاليا 9 مخيمات تضمن نازحين ولاجئين، يعني صار شغلنا على نطاق اوسع بكثير لافضل حديقه منزليه داخل كل مخيم. طبعا بكل مخيم عندنا منسقين بيشتغلوا على هذا الشغل، وبالاضافه لمسابقات الطبخ اللي اضفناها بعد ما عملنا حديقه ازادي، وشفنا حب الناس للزراعه وانهم يقدروا ياكلوا او يحبوا انهم ياكلوا من الشيء اللي بيزرعوه. فمن هون خلقنا فكره انه نعمل مسابقات الطبخ، وايضا مسابقات الطبخ بلشت من مخيم واحد لانتقلت ل9 مخيمات، وهذا شيء كثير كبير. ما في اي منظمه من المنظمات اللي اشتغلت داخل الاقليم قدرت تشتغل الشغل اللي احنا اشتغلناه، وطبعا باقل الامكانيات كنا نقدر نساعد الناس، كنا باعداد بسيطه، والحمد لله شوي شوي عم نقدر نتطور بالشغل.
Again, Aveen is talking about the project. She's saying we started from very little, and with big love we could start this project from this camp. We started with this section, with this project, and then other projects and other ideas were added, such as the monthly garden competition, the annual garden competition, and the cooking competition. We started in one camp, and now we are in 9 camps operating. We have facilitators who are helping us and visiting the family, distributing the seedlings, the seeds, and letting them grow also in their camps. So with very little, with some seeds, we could grow this much. And Aveen is saying that I don't think any other organization is doing the project, the efforts that we are doing, because we're doing it with love and passion.
وبالإضافة لنحن أول مخيم داخل الإقليم نصنع زهورات الشاي. زهورات الشاي هي من النباتات الطبية، طبعا بأيدي الموظفين سوريين. 11 نوع تقريبا من النباتات الطبية بنزرعها وبنجففها وبنغلفها طبعا بترخيص، بنوزعها للعوائل اللي هي بحاجة، المريضة، التعبانة، ممكن لتهدئة الأعصاب. فلقينا كثير رواج داخل الإقليم على هي الزهورات بشكل كثير كبير، خاصة بوقت الكورونا اللي اجتاحت كثير من المناطق وضرت كثير من الناس. فكان شيء يمكن كثير بسيط، بس بالمقابل حجمه اللي بيعود عليه بالنفع للناس كثير كبير. فهذا الشيء كثير بنحتس فيه بالحديقة أو بشغلنا داخل حديقة أزادي اللي هي زهورات الشاي.
Another thing that we feel very proud that we've done in this project is the herbal tea project. So our team here, they grow herbal teas, or some types of flowers, medicine plants. They grow it, they dry it, they package it in a very particular way, and they distribute it over families, especially those who are in need, those who are sick, because these are all bioingredients and they don't harm people. So they feel very proud that they've started this project. And also during COVID, which people could not leave their homes, they were able to distribute these seedlings packet that are packed in a very special way, very professional way, with a lot of love, and give it to people who need it. They have a lot of it. They distribute it over anyone, but they would give some priorities for the people who would really need to drink this herbal tea and benefit from it.
وحابة أقول إنه يمكن تشوفوا الحديقة هلأ هي يمكن حجمها كتير صغير لمساحة المخيم اللي كتير كبيرة، اللي نحن حاولنا إنه بصراحة نكبر، نوسع مشروعنا طبعا بمساعدات بسيطة. نقدر نساعد وناخذ أراضي تانية، بس هذا اللي حاليا قدرنا نساعد الناس فيه. بس اللي حابة أقوله إنه يمكن تشوفوا الحديقة صغيرة، بس هي الشيء اللي موجود فيها من توزيع دائم للشجر، للبذور، للزهورات الشاي. نحن مهتمين جدا بالمرأة. عندنا قسمين، قسم أول وقسم ثاني للنساء. أعطيناهم أراضي أو أقسام من أراضي زراعية يزرعوها، بنقدم لهم كل شيء بيحتاجوه من بذور، من ماء، من تراب، من أسمدة بيزرعوها. كل شيء منتوج بيطلع من الأرض هو إلهم، إنه حرين التصرف فيه. بالإضافة للتنور اللي هو الفرن اللي بنقدم فيه الطحين لكل عائلة 4 كيلوات طحين يقدروا إنهم يخبزوا ويستعيدوا بعد الذكريات اللي فقدوها من سوريا. يمكن هو يمكن تشوفوه شيء يمكن كتير بسيط، بس بالنسبة للناس شيء كتير كبير. بالإضافة لكتير أشياء بنعملها بالحديقة، من توزيع لبيت، دجاج، أرانب، بنساعد الناس فيها. يعني عم نحاول بكل زاوية من الزوايا الموجودة بالحديقة نقدر نستغلها ولو بشيء أو بجزء بسيط، لنقدر نساعد فيها الناس الموجودة داخل المخيمات. طبعا هذا هو المركز النواتي اللي عم نساعد فيه المخيمات الثانية المشاركة معنا ال9 الثانية.
Okay, so we will start showing you around Azadî Garden, and you might think that this is a small place, but believe it, it's not that small, because we're helping too many people. As we said, we have a lot of competitions, a lot of sections. There are many families benefiting from this project. Particularly, each family that are benefiting with us have a bed that they are growing food, they're growing vegetables, And as Lemon Tree Trust, we support them with seedlings, with the seeds, with the soil, with the water, and agricultural tools. We provided for them so that they can benefit. Beside this, we have a baking oven. We call it tanur. We give people flour. We give people flour, and we help them to bake as much as they need. Also, we are in Domiz. We are the center of providing seedlings and seed to other camps. Herbal tea, as we talked about it. Beside this, we also have eggs and other products that we distribute over the beneficiaries and the people around the camp. So this is the summary of what Aveen said, and this is very little, and we will try to show you as much as possible. So I will let's go and show them around. What do you think, Aveen? Yeah. So we will try to show you around. Meanwhile, Aveen will be talking and explaining the different sections for you.
بس حبيت أخبرهم إنه في هذا المكان هو كثير بسيط للقعدة، بس أنا لأنه ما بحب المكاتب فحبينا نعمل قعدة للموظفين وقعدة للأشخاص اللي بيجوا من المنظمات الثانية. في كثير نشاطات انعملت ضمن هذا المكان، يمكن هو تشوفوه كثير بسيط، بس حاولنا نجمع فيه كل شيء اشتغلناه بالسنين السابقة، فكان رد فعل كثير حلو من داخل المخيم.
So I don't know if the camera shows you. Can you see? This is a room. Set for the people who visits the garden. It's very simple. You can see a lot of pictures, albums for LTT staff, the stages of building this garden, and then the beneficiaries. So it's a very simple place to receive the guests, and it's also a rest place for those who works here.
هذا هو القسم الرئيسي، القسم اللي بنزرع فيه شتل الأشجار ونوزع فيه البذور.
So this is the main section where we grow the seedlings and we distribute it over the people. This is basically as a main office, but also as a nursery for the seedlings.
الأشجار الموجودة مثل التين، الزيتون، الليمون، التين.
So you can see a lot of types of trees like olive oil, lemon trees, and figs. And these are the herbal tea.
تقريبا هذا البيت الداخلي الموجود عندنا اللي بنزرع فيه النباتات الطبية، بس رح أرجيكم هلا الأقسام الثانية.
So basically this is, as you can see, this is the main section. You can also see the borewell here. We will move on to show you around. And eventually you will find and see a lot of cats around because they love the garden and the people. These are also the places that we grow the seedlings. And now Aveen is moving on to show you the women's section. This is the main entrance of the main section. You will see women are gathering there. It's, as you can tell, women's garden. Assalamu alaikum. This is the second section. These are the ladies that are gathering here. This is distribution process. And as you can see, also there is a place for children also to play.
هاي السنابل اللي بنوزع لهم فيها البذور، البذور طبعا اللي هن بيحتاجوها، ما بنفرض عليهم اي نوع. منهم طبعا في تنجيد المياه، في كهرباء، في كل شيء موجود، وهن بيعطونهم مثل ما شايفين كل يوم بيجوا ياخذوا الخضره بيسقوا وبياكلوا هاي الخضره على البيت. As you can see, this is the place where the women's gather here. We give each family, each person a bed like this, and it's up to them to grow whatever they want.
We just help them and assist them in the process of growing the food. It's up to them what to grow. And this is the place where they gather to get some rest. It looks like a feast here. People are all gathered. Children are playing. As you can see, this is a process of how a normal, ordinary woman come here, take care, water the seed, the plants, and the vegetables, take care of the beds.
Rody,
Yes.
Rody, could you ask Aveen how she and the gardeners manage water at the garden?
ممكن تحكينا شلون يعني الاهتمام بالسقي او الري او
طبعا احنا ناخذ بعين
ادارته.
ناخذ بعين الاعتبار المواسم، الموسم الصيفي والموسم الشتوي. وطبعا عندنا النباتات المزروعه، يعني مثلا مثل النباتات الموجوده عندنا هي الموسم الشتوي بدها مي كثير قليل، فنحن ما بنقدر انه نسقي مي دائما، لازم نحلل ونخبرهم. وهن اصلا النساء الموجودات هن اصلا فلاحين بيعرفوا يعني كيف يزرعوا المي، كيف يسقوا، فهن كمان بيساعدونا. بس طبعا اكيد في اداره ما بصير دائما الري ينسقى في نفس المواسم.
So of course we pay attention a lot to the water and not to waste a lot of water. And this season, as you know, plants need minimum water. So we tell them when to come, and we tell them not to waste a lot of water, especially in this season. Not much water is needed to irrigate the plants, but of course, in the summer we might have shortage in the water. So we manage it carefully that in the way that we don't waste any water.
Thanks, Rody. But the water comes from a borehole, doesn't it?
Yes. So as we showed you, there is a borewell, and there is sort of a distribution with the pipes that comes to these sections. And if you would notice that there is a water pipe nearby few number of beds. So each few number of beds are resourced with water, as you can see, and they irrigate easily without any challenge.
Brilliant. Thanks, Rody. Thanks, Aveen.
طبعا مو بس بالاضافه انهم بيجوا يزرعوا بياخذوا فتره تبعهم، بيجوا مرات لهون حتى يقعدوا يفطروا سوا، يشربوا شاي، لانه بتعرف يمكن المخيم كله اذا هلا بتعمل لقطات كاميرات ف يعني ما راح يبين لك قديش من بحاجه لانه لراحه نفسيه اكثر بكثير من انه يزرع. كثير في اشخاص بيكون معاهم تعبانين نفسيا، خاصه النساء مثل ما بنعرف على ضغط كثير، فبيجوا لهون لحتى يقعدوا يشربوا شاي، يفطروا سوا، يغيروا جو، فهذا الشيء نحن بننبسط فيه لما بنساعد الاشخاص.
So we also need to remember that people also find peace in gardening. So it's more than only growing. Ladies here gather at this section, they drink tea, they eat breakfast, they chat, and so it's way more than only growing food. It's a center for gathering, talking, chatting about daily challenges, and they find peace, and it reminds them of Syria. Somehow brings calm and peace for them.
Thanks, Rody. If you wouldn't mind telling the gardeners that people on the call would love to say hello, and just hello from all the different places that they're joining from today. So thank you very much. And please thank them very much for sharing their space.
She's saying hi to you. She's saying hi to you.
Oh, thank you. And could you ask Aveen, Rody, what sort of plants people are growing, or what are the vegetable crops that people are growing, and are they are they vegetables and herbs that they know from home, from Syria, or are they growing things from other parts of the world?
بتقول إذا تعرفين شنو أنواع الخضرة، بس لا تجيب لي واسع، شنو أنواع الخضرة اللي يزرعوها؟ هل هي نباتات هم متعودين عليها بسوريا، أو هي أيضا شغلات عامة يزرعوها هنا؟
لا، نفس النباتات، بما أنه الطبيعة تقريبا بالعراق نفس تقريبا بسوريا، ونفس المواد بتنزرع بس باختلاف شوي أنواع بذور بس نفس الخضار الموسمي الصيفي مش نفسها بتنزرع.
So it's the same vegetables and the vegetables that they need and they use in everyday daily life for their food. And since the nature of Iraq is very close to Syria, so they normally grow the same food they used to grow in Syria. So for example, this is roka. And since it's getting a little cold, women are trying to get warmed up. So we are going to another section, another women's section, the main one. And here's Jan, where people...
Hi, Jan.
They go, hi. Jan also works with us from this section. And this is another place where ladies gather. Say hi. Assalamu alaikum. Where people all gather here, and maybe there's a small library for the children where they gather here, they study, they do their homework, and most importantly, people here bake. This is one of our great adds to this project, baking oven for ladies to be able to bake and do bread, fresh bread, naan. And we are very happy that we can see this live. Assalamu alaikum. There's this lady here trying to bake, do fresh bread for us. خلاص شنو اسمك؟
هدير.
هديل؟
هدير.
هدير، اوكي.
هدير.
من وين انت من سوريا؟ ديرك. So this lady is from Derek. ايش قد صار لك هنا انت؟ 9 years. She's been here for 9 years, and she's very happy that she's able to bake again.
So really, it's worth saying that people at people's shelter, there isn't enough room, is there, for people to have tandoors, these traditional tandoors at shelters, and it's also they obviously get, as you can see, they get quite hot. There's a lot of fire involved. So these community bread ovens are really well used, aren't they, by people who come and bake, and then the bread is distributed to lots of families.
Yes, of course. Yeah, so people here bake regularly. Aveen and her team, they try to manage a schedule. So it's like a schedule. They give flour for the people, and then they tell them when to come so that they can bake for themselves, sometimes even distribute it over the other people, people in the garden, maybe their families, their neighbors. So it's all well organized in a way that each beneficiary is getting benefit from these 2 baking ovens. And if you can see, the safety measures are also taken. There is a water source here just in case, God forbid, a fire happened, so that they can be safe and bake as they want.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Rody.
Aveen will show us the animal section. So we have rabbits. So rabbit is also one of the main ingredients, if you allow me to say, of Syrian food. Rabbits and chickens.
Oh, hi, little bunnies.
This is Shalal, our agricultural worker as well. And this is Pala as well.
And Yusuf.
Yusuf. And Yusuf.
Yusuf is Aveen's son, eldest son. Hi, Yusuf.
And Jian works here with the ladies as well.
Yeah.
خلاص
وهدول الصناديق نفس المزروع
Yeah.
القسم الثاني يعني كل شيء موجود هون، من تمديد مي، من كهرباء، من تراب، من توزيعات الصيفي أو الشتوي والتجهيزات.
We've got a question from Cheryl here. That, are the rabbits for pets or for eating? I think, Cheryl, the answer to that is a little bit of both.
Yeah.
They are pets and the children love looking after them.
Yeah.
But they are also for eating, I'm afraid.
Yeah, so they give some sort of beauty to the garden. Children play with the rabbits, with the chicken, but also they are being used in main dishes, Syrian main dishes. So Aveen was saying, if you can see the distribution of beds here, it's the same, very similar to the structure of the other section. Maybe because this one, the first one, that's why you would see the other one is a little more developed, but they're all organized and managed in best possible way and give the priority for the widows and indeed.
Thanks, Rody. Could you ask Aveen, there's a question here from Catherine, could you ask Aveen, is there a waiting list for the garden, for people to garden there?
This is what she was going to talk about, yeah.
Okay, brilliant.
كثير كبير من الأشخاص اللي مسجلين داخل المخيم على أراضي على صناديق، نفس الصناديق، يعني لأنه في مناطق كثير بعيدة عن الحديقة، عن حديقة أزادي، فنحن لازم نسوي حدائق تالية تكون قريبة من مناطق السكن. ليش؟ لأنه لازم كل يوم يجوا يعتنوا فيها. فكثير أشخاص، يعني عندنا لائحة بعدد الأشخاص الموجودين هون بأضعاف.
والسؤال كان أكو إنه هل أكو عالم منتظرة إنه حتى تأخذ، أو إذا شوية تحكين؟
كاملة. يعني على عدد الموجودين على أضعاف أشخاص مسجلة أسمائها من زمان، خاصة نحن بنلبي الاحتياجات اللي مثلا وضعها من ناحية إعاقات، رغم المطلقات، نحن بنضطر إنه ناخذ هدول، بالإضافة إنه كثير أشخاص هي بحاجة كمان، يعني نفسيا مو بس إنه جسديا أو عندها مرض. فمشان هيك في عندنا أعداد كثير كبيرة مسجلة بدها سنة.
ويتبدلون كل قد إذا في حال؟
صراحة إذا الأوضاع مثلا لأي ظرف من الظروف اللي بدهم يتخلوا عن الصندوق، نحن ما بنقدر نطالبهم دائما، لأنه في أشخاص تبقى إنه هي بحاجة مساعدة، وبكون مردودها الوحيد للخضروات هي الحديقة، فما بنقدر.
So, of course, there is a big waiting list for the people who would like to get benefit from these pets and take a part in this project. What we try to do, as we've mentioned earlier, that we give priority for people in need, families who don't have someone to look after them, widows, families with disabilities. So the current beneficiaries are benefiting from these pets, and until we find that they are more self-sustained and they approach us and say that we don't need the bed anymore, we will give it to the next family. But we've chosen the most vulnerable families to give them these beds. Of course, there's chance to change them if they didn't look after the beds properly. But most of the times they keep the bed for a long time. And we were thinking and hoping to do other similar gardens in other neighborhoods inside the camps, but in other neighborhoods, so that people can easily access the garden. It's winter, maybe a woman cannot let her family for a long time. So this project is benefiting the people around this neighborhood, but we were hoping to duplicate this project in other neighborhoods to allow a big number of families and women to benefit from this project.
Thank you very, very much, Rody. We're mindful of time, and we would love to get to Gawilan as well this evening. And we know that hi. We'd love to. We know that the sun is going down, so we don't want to get to Gawilan in the dark. That's so lovely to see everybody. So yeah, thank you, Rody. Thank you to Aveen and everybody there in Azadî. It's absolutely fantastic to see everybody there. And thank you to everyone who has contributed questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
If you don't mind, I want to talk to you.
Oh yeah, of course, Rody.
Yeah. Can you speak in English? Yeah.
Okay. How are you?
Jenny.
Jenny.
مستفيدين يعني.
Jenny, you remember me? My name is Jane. You visit me before.
I did. Hi, Jana. How are you?
على مثل يشوفون. قولي شلون.
Okay.
I'm okay. What about
I still remember your pies. I still remember those little pies. They were just one of the best things I've ever tasted.
Yeah. Why you come?
They're watching you now. They're watching. There are a lot of people. أكثر من 17 شخص هسه موجودين بالاتصال. إيه.
That's good.
Yeah.
I will be back to see you soon, Jana. Bye.
يقولون نعرف
Oh, that's really lovely. Thank you so much, Rody. Thank you to Aveen and everybody there. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Big love.
Okay, so I'm going to move on to Gawilan. I know we had some other questions there. We will try and get to those at the end because we'll be joined by Aveen and Rody again. They'll go back to the office. But we're really mindful that the sun is setting in the Kurdistan region and we don't want to miss the lovely Gawilan garden as well. So this is a photograph of the patch of ground that we are currently building a garden on in Gawilan camp. This was taken just about 18 months ago. And as you can see, it really doesn't take long for this sort of area to be transformed with very little investment, but with a lot of love, a lot of passion and a lot of energy that the people in this neighborhood are going to pour into this space. It really can be transformed quite quickly. This is Othman. We're going to hear from Othman and Hamid again in a minute. But you can see here behind there's this big digger that we brought in to level the ground. It was quite a sloped site, so we first of all had to level it to create the growing beds. The team has been working really hard, creating this stand in the corner for a water tank. We have a similar setup here where we're able to access water from a borehole, and there's a bore well very close to where the garden is situated. It's one of the reasons that we chose to build it here. And taking, our cue really from the beds that have been created in Azadî and Domiz 1, we are creating these quite large raised breeze block or cinder block beds that you can see here that we have since filled with growing media, with soil, and then people will be able to start using them very soon. Again, knowing that the bread ovens, the community bread ovens, are so popular in Azadî, we've ensured that is also available here in Hêvî Community Garden in Gawilan. And these ovens, I'm hoping, might be in use this evening, so we should be able to see them being used. And really importantly, the first plants are just starting to go in the ground. We needed to do all of this infrastructure first, but the fig trees are going in to the side of this container here that's been donated to the garden, and more trees will be planted very soon. It's a good time to be planting trees. Although the weather is becoming colder, the season is going to become wetter over the next few months. So it's a good growing time for trees. And you can see Othman and Rokhan here visiting people, telling them about the garden and creating the first sign-ups for the garden beds. So we already have people ready and waiting to use these beds that we've created in Gawilan camp. So again, I know you don't want to hear from me. You want to hear from the people in Kurdistan who are doing this, work on the ground. My involvement is really very little, really. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Hamid, Abdullah and Othman Kouas, who join us from Gawilan camp today. Thank you very much.
Good. Thanks, Jenny, for handing over the presentation. Hello, everyone. It's great to having you today to joining us for this presentation. We are going to show you Gawilan Community Garden from the scratch on the process that we've already reached a stage today.
Hamid, are you able to share your screen so that you can share those few? There's just one or two slides that show your master plan of the garden. Are you able to share that and share the presentation? Or would you like me to share that again?
Please, yeah.
Okay, I'll share my screen again and then you can talk this through.
Good. All right. as a designer of the community garden, shall I talk to you and explain every garden element and compartment? So we've came up with a brownfield, as Jenny mentioned before. We leveled all the ground, as there was a sort of two small hills over there. And after talking to everybody in this team, I mean LTT team, we came up with a design which I shall tell you every compartment, as I said. So from the left hand, there's our LTT office, the white one. The main entrance, quite a big space here for event. So it could be gardeners event, I would say, harvesting event. And down there, there's a bakery house, which I'll show you in a bit, and 2 water tanks. So the big green area, I can tell you this is the raised beds, which are 92 raised beds in total. And there are 2, we could say, gathering space for women. Yeah, just next to the raised beds, there are wildflower seed mix area. Fortunately, we've came up with a seed mix which I made from 14 different seeds, and we're gonna be able to plant over there just to support wildlife and blooming as well. In the middle, you can see the playground. That's a quite good area for having fun with the children and gathering, I could say, toddler as well. And those gardeners who have children, they can take their kids or children with them and take it to the garden, I mean, and can have a fun over that spot. And over the right hand of the plan, there are vineyard, orchard or vineyard, I could say. We've designed it to be this, but we haven't fixed it yet because we are still waiting to know the demanding of the raised beds. If the families are more than what we have at the moment, which are 92 in total, we're gonna transform half of the vineyard or all the vineyard to be a raised bed and nursery, as well as tunnel houses. So that's all the design, and is surrounded by 5 or 6 tree species. I could tell you the trees as well. So it could be olive tree, catalpa, chinaberry, white mulberry, black mulberry, and acacia. So that's a computer generated picture which can show how the garden would be in the future. Yeah, and this is as I said, this is another computer based presentation for the garden, just to show you how the spaces were organized and how the space can communicate to each other.
Thanks, Hamid. That's brilliant.
Oh.
I'm right in saying that you haven't planted the wildflower mix yet, have you? That's to be done in the spring. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had a question about whether we'd seen pollinators already. And I think the answer to that is that we know that there are lots of pollinators that are attracted to our garden in Azadî, where obviously, as you've seen, there's lots of things growing. But as of yet, we haven't yet planted that wildflower mix here. So we're hoping to attract pollinators.
Exactly. Yeah. But there's a plan to plant the wildflower mix, as you said, in March or in February.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay. So shall we go out and take the tour of the garden?
Yes, please.
All right. Yeah. Why we've named the garden Hêvî, and what does that mean in Kurdish language? Hêvî means hope,
in English. And we've chosen this name because people are still waiting to get their objectives, which are return to their, I could say, nature, return to their origin, where they are all from agricultural family, I could say. Here is the bakery house, making bread. طبعا باشن صحتي they are saying hello to you. Hello, everybody
thank
who
you.
are hearing.
Hello to everybody. Hello and shukran to everybody as well. Thank you.
أو زرت باسيوت كات بو آماده بونا و إيروكا. Okay. Thanks. Bed. That's the new bread they just made. They just baked and made it.
Oh wow.
You should smell the bread.
I bet it smells lovely.
Okay, as we said, at the moment we've completed 52 raised beds, 52 families. We are going to start the planting next week. She wants to know you exactly that how they bake bread.
It happens so quickly.
This bakery house here. They have not been offered with a bakery house or a baking station before.
So this is the first time it's been used?
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're making us all hungry.
Yeah. That's our lemon tree trust office. And I could tell you about the irrigation system or watering the garden. It depends on a groundwater here. The surface water here is not that much because it's been designed to get the camp within a borehole. The borehole just next to us is not that far, but again, we are going to water every raised bed within a water tap, which is just over there, and on intervals. I mean, it depends on the vegetation that we're going to plant in the community garden. So with the beginning, we were thinking to have sort of what we can say organic agriculture. So we thought we must have if Jenny just assist me, I can't say the word. I forget the word that is called manure, animal manure.
For manure, yeah. For manure, like organic manure and compost. You're going to be making compost, aren't you?
So we thought we must have animal manure to mix with the topsoil, or let's say agricultural soil, to make a mix to get the best result, or let's say best yield. So we've borrowed about 24 meters of animal manure. That one is quite old, and the older the better for animal manure because it looks like a compost, not animal manure, because it's been decomposed. So we're going to mix it with the topsoil for every raised bed and then plant vegetables.
Great, thank you,
So
Hamid.
here's a small tour of Gawilan Garden, and we are happy to answer every question you may have or you may ask.
Thank you so much. That's brilliant.
There's a nice skyline for the camp as well.
It looks fantastic. It's such a lovely sunset. The colours are amazing.
Yeah.
So please pass on our thanks, Hamid, to Othman, to the ladies in the bakery who are baking this evening. I wish we were all there and were able to share that bread with you. It looks fantastic. And yes, we've people are asking if we can come back, Hamid, in a year's time and see the garden as it progresses.
Green.
I'm sure it will be not a lot greener. Yes, that would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Would be definitely would be much greener than what is at the moment.
Yeah.
Because everything is planned and everything is going to be applied very soon.
Thank you. And Hamid, what animals have provided the manure? Is it cows or goats or?
Sorry, they are asking. What تحقق عافية بي عزيزي. They are very happy to joining us today and to having this bakery house, and they are hoping to get more activity for women in this camp.
Fantastic. We hope that too. Thank you, Hamid. And
Good.
thank
All
them
right.
very much.
قالك ممنون قالك سباس زور سباس عزيزا زور سباس زور ممنون سرتاري مخوان زور سباس. Thanks very much. Thank you all. Good, Jenny.
Hamid, sorry, I just wanted to ask it about the manure, about the animal manure. Is it cows or goats or chickens? What sort of animals have provided the manure?
Just cow. It's called cattle and cows and goat. Let's say mixed, basically, but it's not. It's not poultry manure.
Not poultry, but
poultry.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
All right, Jenny.
Okay, so I am going to. Oh, it does look really good, Hamid. They sprayed. They used a stencil to spray this on the other day. They've painted this office was donated by a business in the region, as was the container. We had it delivered to the garden, and there'll be the team have been really working hard to kind of paint it and clean it all up, so that it can be a really nice be developed into a really nice space, just like Azadî. Okay, so I will. What should I do? Should I go back to the presentation? I think we can invite questions. I know that we've been trying to answer a few questions along the way, but if anyone has any other questions, please do use the Q&A function, and we can direct them. I know that Aveen and Rody are still on the call, and I think Hamid and Othman will be going back to their office now. So if there's any other specific questions we can ask any of the team, then please let us know. I'm just going to try, and I think we had another question from Cheryl, didn't we? I'm going to try and go back to them now. I don't know if this is a question for Aveen and Othman directly, really, but we had one of the people joining us today was wondering, are there any areas where people who are living in the camps can get out into nature? I know that there's a really strong Kurdish tradition of picnicking on Fridays. So are there areas where you can go and enjoy sort of nature outside of the camps? in sort of natural landscapes where you can take a picnic and enjoy time with your families. I don't know if you're able to translate that, Rody or Hamid, to Aveen and Othman.
Yeah.
أكيد في مناطق خارج المخيمات. طبعا بطبيعة كردستان في مناطق كتير حلوة وخضراء. فأكيد في مناطق كتير يعني شلالات، أشجار، جبال، ينابيع. كتير طبيعة حلوة طبعا بكردستان.
Of course, there's a beautiful nature around some places, maybe not all the camps, but there's a beautiful nature. People can go to picnic. We will try to open the video.
Thanks, Rody.
Also to show you the bread that we got just now, the baking oven, and also some of the cats. Othman is saying we sent you the bread, but we just got the ladies here. So there are a lot of places around some of the camps, but also generally there are a lot of places in Kurdistan region where people can go out to picnic and get some fresh air, especially in Nowruz and some other feasts where people
New Year.
These days in Kurdish New Year, not inside the camp, but they would rather go outside to the nature and eat, take food with them, do some fire, drink tea and traditional clothes with traditional food. But also inside the camp, we have became the hub of celebration, cultural and national celebrations in the camp. For example, for Nowruz, people and ladies, they gather here because we have the nature here, and we celebrate and we do the picnic inside the Azadî Garden.
And remind us when Nowruz is, when Kurdish New Year, when does that take place, Rody?
The 3rd of March.
The 3rd of March. And will you be celebrating the sort of Christian New Year or Christmas in the camps as well?
My apologies. It's 21st of March, not
21st of March. Yes, it's the first day of spring, isn't it? It's the New
Year.
Year.
It's the first day of spring. Also, the National Women Day, Mother Day, and it's the beginning of spring.
Yes, lots of things happening at the same time.
Yeah. So they also, to answer your question, Jenny, this place is becoming, even if we don't have international community here, but they celebrate New Year as well. They do a big Christmas tree in the middle of the garden, and people gather here. There's a Santa Claus where you see he distribute the gifts over the ladies, but also any other national and international known. More bread is coming.
Oh wow! You got to stop now. You're making us all too hungry.
هلا حميد كان عم يقول إنه هو بعت لنا الخبز بس ما عنده زهورات الشاي هو.
Okay, so we want also to show you that. So we were talking about the herbal tea. So after they grow and cut and dry the herbal tea, it becomes in this final shape. So this is our local brand called Sidra. They package it this way and they give it to people. We were trying also to find a way to sell it so that the people in the camp can benefit from their growing. And so it's like any other normal tea. You boil it and it becomes in this shape. And, it's used for many reasons. People here drink this herbal tea when they're sick, but also in any gathering, they would rather drink this instead of tea.
And I can vouch for it. It's absolutely delicious. Really, really delicious.
Yes.
Its main ingredients is rose. So rose petals go into that. But there's also santalina and rosemary, a bit of lavender. Help me out, Aveen. Geranium.
Mint.
A mint. Thyme, Syrian thyme. I think
Jewelry,
Lavender.
Sorry, what was that? Which one?
Lavender.
Lavender, yeah. Jewelry, rose, yeah. So yeah, it's a really lovely mix. And actually, I think on our website, I think we have a link to a recipe of that. So we'll make sure we send that round afterwards as well, because it really is very delicious.
Yeah, and also the ingredients are written in the sticker here, so you can, also
the secret recipe.
Yes, yeah. There's nothing to hide. Everything is mentioned here. Also, there is, production date written here as well, so that they know and people know when this was produced first.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ali. Ali's put the recipe for Sidra tea in the chat, so you can follow that link to the website. Do we have any more questions? There's one final question in the Q&A here. We were just wondering about, we've asked about sort of access to nature, but tell us a bit more about your living arrangements, Aveen and Othman, very briefly. I think I'm right in saying that when you first moved to the camps, that originally they were tented communities, but now you're able to build shelters on the plot of your house, your home, aren't you? You're able to build your own shelters with materials that are provided. So tell us a little bit more about that. Are you able to cook at your shelters? Are you able to, is there running water there? Just to, I know the answer to this. I'm asking you because we've had a couple of questions on the chat about that.
يعني هل انتم قادرين اترجم لكم اثنيناتكم؟ يعني كانت تسال جيني اذا شوي تحكون عن الوضع المعيشي، هل انتم قادرين هسه تطبخون؟ هل انتم قادرين على تعمير بيوتكم بشكل افضل؟ طبعا احنا نعرف هذا الشيء، بس حتى يعني اللي ويانا، الضيوف اللي ويانا، حتى يكون عندهم اطلاع اوسع على طبيعة الحياة في المخيمات.
هلا بصراحة بالبداية أبدا الناس ما كان عندها قدرة للبناء أو حتى أدنى التكاليف أو المصاريف اليومية لأنها تساعد العوائل. فرص العمل كانت جدا قليلة، المنظمات حتى كانت كثير قليلة كمساعدات، فكانت فرص العمل ضئيلة جدا. الناس اللي إجت تهجرت بسبب الحرب أو بسبب إنها خسرت شغلها، فكانت صعبة البدايات جدا، فما كانوا يقدروا أبدا إنه يبنوا أو يعمروا بيوتهم. صار البناء على مراحل، يعني كتطور، مثلا ممكن خشب، بعدين يمكن حديد، بعدين صار بناء. وحاليا أكيد 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 الأوضاع تغيرت كليا، يعني من الخيام لبيوت معمرة ببلوك إسمنت. فرص العمل زادت، شغلهم زاد. المنظمات ساعدت كثير بصراحة، في كثير منظمات ساعدت الأشخاص الموجودين داخل المخيم ببعض المساعدات المادية أو الغذائية. فصار في حركة كثير قوية، يعني إذا بدنا نقارن من البدايات لهي السنة طبعا كثير يعني صار الوضع ممتاز.
Aveen is saying, eventually, if we would compare what the situation was like at the beginning and now, there's a major difference that happened. At the beginning, people could even barely maintain their life here, buy something. The houses were only shelters. People could not do anything with them. But now, with the years, people have developed their shelters. They built a house. Of course, each one would do a house with his financial, let's say, whatever he can do. And based on that, some people also maintain their homes. They built a new home. They can cook inside the house. Also, there was a major role for the organizations, the NGOs, and helping and assisting people, vulnerable families, to find some sort of sustainability and stability. Without them, we couldn't have done what have achieved today. So a major part of this is because of their help and assistance that they helped us with. And as you can see today, the situation is way better and cannot be compared to what it was like at the beginning.
طبعا بس ما فينا كمان نخفي انه يمكن الاوضاع المعيشيه صارت منيحه، بس الاوضاع الاجتماعيه كاشخاص كعوائل اكيد فقدوا كثير. يعني ما في يمكن عائله كامله ان كانت هون بالعراق او بسوريا او باي منطقه ثانيه ما تهجرت او تغربت او اولادها سافروا، اللي فقدت عزيز عليها طفل، رجل، امراه، اللي كان بالأسر أو اللي كان بالحرب مات أو اللي سافر. ففيك تقول يعني النفسيات لسه هي يعني فينا نقول يمكن بعضها متحطم، في أشخاص ما عم يقدروا يتجاوزوا الشيء اللي هن فيه. فيمكن بلاقي إنه منظمتنا بهي الزاوية هي دخلت إنه كراحة نفسية، زراعة، ورود، حتى مو بالضرورة إنه يجوا على الحديقة، نحن نعطيهم نباتات يزرعوها ببيوتهم فحتى شوي يغيروا نفسياتهم. فهو الدور النفسي مؤذي أكثر من الدور المادي اللي ممكن يعني ممكن يكون عندك مصاري بس نفسيتك مو مرتاحة، أنت تعبان، عندك ناس بالغربة، فهذا الشيء مؤذي كثير للأشخاص. فهذا عم يلعب كثير دور بالغربة يعني بشكل عام للسوريين.
Okay, she says also it's good that we have seen some development in buildings, but we cannot deny that people from inside were broken because they lost a lot of people, family members. So yes, we can say that there was major development and growth, building-wise, house-wise, but from inside they were broken because they lost a lot of, family members, people they loved, and it was no hard for them to overcome this challenge. It's where our organization entered and helped these people through gardening, through simple initiatives to forget what happened. We cannot say that they will forget totally forget what happened, but at least it will help them to give them the internal peace, the inside peace, and somehow help them to justify their lifestyle again to, nowadays life. And also, even if people cannot come to our gardens, if people cannot grow here, we can, and we used to send them seedlings, we used to send them flowers so that they can do their small garden inside their shelters and their homes.
Thank you very much, Rody. Thank you, Aveen. That's obviously that's brilliant. I know that Othman was going to say something in answer as well. I just wondered if Othman had anything to add.
بس ما توش يخون بيجا. أخ رودي أنت بترجم لي يا أحكي؟ عادي أسيش بس.
حميد يترجم لك
إيه. فريقين. نحن المجينا إلى مخيمات مو بكيفنا، يعني جينا غصب عننا. هروبنا من سوريا إلى العراق إلى المخيمات غصب عننا جينا، يعني مو بالكيفنا. فلذلك تأثر، وكل إنسان ساكن بالمخيم وراه قصة طويلة، يعني قصة الحرب. فكل إنسان هون له حالة نفسية خاص به، موجوع من وراء ترك الأرض اللي عاش فيه سنين قضى طفولته فيها. فلذلك هون نحن كل مخيم تفرق عن مخيم. نحن مخيمنا بعيد، مخيم غويلان بعيد عن المراكز المدن الرئيسية مسافات طويلة يعني، والمنطقة نحن ساكنين فيها شبه صحراوية. بالفعل منظمة ليمون تري تراست كان لها يعني تأثير كبير في مخيمنا، من ناحية تشجير، من ناحية دعم الزراعي، من ناحية معنوية ونفسية. فهذا مو أنا اللي بحكي، اللي الناس اللي ساكنين من سكان المخيم هن بيشهدوا على هذا الكلام. فترجمه بعدين بكمل الأخ رودي.
أصل ترجمة يعني
يعني ترجم كمل.
Othman is saying the reason why we came to Iraq or we flee to other countries is not optional. It wasn't optional. It was like something we have to take in. We had to decide basically, and we all came from let's say, an urban place, and we've been to in the campus that was like a semi-arid region, or let's say like a Sahara region. And he says behind every family there's a great story. So behind every family there would be a great story, because they left their homeland, they left their relatives, they left their culture, they left their belongings. But he says that when they came to Gawilan particularly, they could see Lemon Tree Trust hand of help. He says they saw how Lemon Tree Trust could green the let's say the Sahara region into a green space that they could benefit from the gathering spaces, from the events that as a Lemon Trust we've made so far. So that was all the reasons behind of this fleet, from a fleet stage to a stable stage.
فمنذ يعني تقريبا حفظ سالا از کار دکم د منظمه لیمون دا نه يعني از النومه از بو حفظ سالنا قال لیمون تري کار دکم فما دار ما قالك دار ما بلكي بيتري 6000 10000 دار ما بلا كر الخلكي الكامبي نهام بالروبيا نرابر وكرا يعني شاني وبدا وك شبه غابه يعني غاباقي داري ليمون تري تراستن يعني بصراحه راستي يعني وحر مالك يجي بيستانك غور مساحتي بتشوچك جي بيستانك دمال خدا تشكرنا ابويا بفضل ليمون تري تراستن ليه راستيني ام حالك نفسي دا يعني ايه بنابرن حالك نفسي دا راستيني سر ما هي تاثيري خل سر ما هي وحياتك ما بسيطه يعني مالي ما بتشوشكن يعني يكجي از مثالا اجي يكجي في ملتيمه مالي من دو غرفه بتشوكن زاري من دالي من شارن سسي دو جامعين يكجي بكالوريا يعني او جي برمجامعيه يعني عم بدو غرفه تشوك دا ام خاندري خدكن وديسا جي ام فيجن بيجي يعني زارو كما كانن بخونن دفي تاثير جو نملائمه وضع نباشه.
He says, as I have been working with Lemon Tree Trust for more than 7 years, we have distributed more than 7,000 trees over all of the camp shelters. So now, if I could show you, because it's already sunset, we can't. So if we could show you that the camp looks like a semi-forest region instead of a Sahara region. He says, yeah, all of these things are great, but we are refugee. We live in a small house. We live in a house which are two rooms, and we have children. We have study. We have to work. We have to do all things to maintain the normal, let's say, life.
Thank you, Hamid, for translating, and thank you very, very much, Othman, for your thoughts. It's been really brilliant working with you for the past 7 years, and lots more trees to plant, I would say, in the coming years. So thank you very, very much. I'm mindful that we've slightly run over time. I think that was to be expected. There was so much to see on this call. We were quite ambitious with what we were trying to show you. But for those who were able to join live today, I hope that has given you a little insight into the work that's ongoing in the Kurdistan region. James, Ali and I absolutely love working with this team, and we feel very privileged to be able to do so. They teach us things every time we speak to them. Thank you to Rody, to Aveen, to Hamid, to Othman, to all of the ladies in the bakeries today. I could just smell the bread as it was being made. So that was fantastic. Thank you very, very much. You can always contact us on our info@lemontreetrust.org address. Thank you for receiving our newsletters and for being always interested in our work. Thank you for sharing our content on social media and spreading the word. We know that most people on this call are regular donors to Lemon Tree Trust, so thank you very, very much for your support. If you did want to help us, spread that word to your friends and family, then please do so. We'll share the donate link for both of our Azadî and Hêvî gardens in the email that we'll send round with the recording of this webinar. If you've loved the webinar and if you think this is something that we should do more regularly, then please let us know. We'd welcome your feedback, and obviously would like to ensure that we're doing things better next time. So if you've got any thoughts, then please let us know. But yes, I think that's probably just it from me, unless I've forgotten anything. I'm looking over at James. But thank you for being so forthcoming with your questions today. It's been really lovely to have that conversation. And yeah, thank you very, very much for joining us.